104.5 The Team. We're on our big old training camp tour thanks to our friends at Levack Blue, and former Raider, former Patriot, current forever Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer Mike Haynes joins us right now. Mike, when you look at training camp nowadays, do you get jealous considering what you guys had to do?
That's really funny. No, I don't. I don't get jealous. You know what's really crazy is I love camp. For me, for the most part, in the off season, I kind of worked out by myself or with maybe 2 or 3 other guys. But at training camp, I got a chance to work out with receivers and quarterbacks and cover them in practice. And I felt like it was all getting ready for the season. And I really used it to prepare for the season. So I enjoyed it, to get a chance to improve my skills. So I tried to come to camp in shape every year. I didn't use camp to get in shape. I worked out there to use it as an opportunity to work on my skills.
We hear a lot of guys tell us that they would come into camp out of shape and then get into shape back in the day, and they look at the guys now and it's more like a Club Med thing. So you wouldn't enjoy this because there wouldn't be the hitting, there wouldn't be the true training the way you're used to.
Well, we didn't hit very much in training camp, but we were practicing with our full gear on, and we might have a few plays where they had live contact, but for the most part, we didn't scrimmage.
Mike Haynes joined us, a former first-round draft pick from the New England Patriots, a team we're covering training camp. Take us through that process, Mike, drafting when you found out you were going to be a New England Patriot. Did you think you were going to end up being a Patriot on that draft day?
No, I had no idea. I had, my rookie year was the first year that Seattle and Tampa Bay came into the league, and I had spent a lot of time talking to the general manager of Seattle because I think they wanted to take me. And to be honest with you, I just didn't want to get drafted by a team, a new team, because I felt like it's going to be an eternity before they have enough good players to get to a Super Bowl. I'd rather go to a team that had a better chance. In college, I played in three Fiesta Bowls at Arizona State. My senior year, we were undefeated. I didn't want to go to a team that might not win a game my first season in the NFL. And so I talked to the general manager of the Seahawks and convinced him that he should draft a wide receiver or a quarterback or a running back, somebody they could really promote and sell tickets. A defensive back, come on, how can I sell tickets? That was what I said. So I guess I did a good job of talking him out of it. But the Patriots, I didn't know anything about them either. They had only won 3 games the season before, but I knew the names of some of the guys on that team, and I got a chance to meet them once I was drafted, and they kind of assured me that they really were a good team. They just had a lot of bad luck, a lot of injuries.
Mike, what did you enjoy most about being a part of that organization for the Patriots?
I think really it was a time in my life where I was kind of kind of a lot of things going on in my life, and the Patriots had a lot of Christian guys on the team, and I can't really say that I thought much about Christianity or faith or anything like that. But I recognize that a lot of the good players on the team, every Thursday they were going to a Bible study, and they invited me to go once. And so I went, and that really kind of changed my life. I enjoyed meeting the players and their wives. I loved what they were talking about and the things that would come up in that session, how they answered the questions. And so that was the beginning of a new Mike Haynes. I actually started hanging out with different kind of guys than I was used to hanging out with. So that was different. And then the culture in New England, the fans were, I guess, maybe the most educated fans I'd ever been around. They knew everything about every player on our team. They knew everything about the history of the Patriots. They were really educated, and I wasn't used to that. And so it was a different mindset. And I think I just started to change a little bit as a person. So I kind of became like a New Englander. And when I first started, I didn't think I would really like it. I didn't think I would want to stay there. I had all kind of good reasons, the weather and things. But after being there in a short while, I started to like it. And I ended up staying up there in the off seasons, ended up getting a job in Boston, and really thought that I probably would retire and live in New England the rest of my life. So I really loved it. The players were great. The coaches were great. The owners were great. We did have some controversy every time my contract was up, but for the most part, it was a pretty good experience. When our coach Chuck Fairbanks started losing faith in making his ability to make decisions that would help our team, it affected the team. I think we started to feel it too. And so when he left, it was just a matter of time before some of the other players left as well. So, but it's a different deal today. With Robert Kraft, he's a different situation for him and his ownership. The way the league works is completely different. Free agency and things like that, they're all different as well. And so it's a total different NFL today than it was in my era at the Patriots.
Mike Haynes with us right now, 104.5 The Team Hall of Famer. Now, the NFL Hall of Fame, you get the bust that looks just like in Major League Baseball. They make you pick what team goes on your hat. You just told us about all your formative years with the Patriots and how special that was. You win a Super Bowl with the Raiders. If they made you pick a logo to go on that bust, which one would it be?
Well, I was really fortunate. I never had to do that. Back in my day, of course, the guys would play most of their careers on one team, and they may play a few more years on another team. Me, my career was equally split, 7 years on the Patriots and 7 years on the Raiders. And because of that, I never had to choose, and I really felt great about that. Of course, I won a Super Bowl with the Raiders, but I played with so many great players on both teams. I loved both teams equally. I had a great experience on both teams. I just didn't win a Super Bowl in New England, but I surely thought that we would win quite a few when I was in New England, but I felt the same with the Raiders. And so when people ask me now, which one do I feel more a part of, I say, well, it depends on where I am when you ask me.
See, Mike, I'm not letting you get off that easy. See, you were a high-pressure guy. You handle this thing easily. You're out on a boat with Derek Carr and Tom Brady. You can only save one after the boat flips. Who do you save? Is it the Raider or the Patriot?
Well, right now I'd have to say, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think Tom Brady is the best quarterback in NFL history. I've been saying that for 5 years, and it's not like something I just start saying, this year. I've been saying it for a long time, and I think the Patriots, because of him, his leadership ability, the relationship he has with the head coach and the owner, the relationship he has with other players on the team, I think he has handled his experience there in a unique way, in a great way, that all the guys feel like it's a team that wins these games. It's not Tom Brady by himself. It's a team, and he does a great job of doing his role. If there were more guys like him, it'd really be a great, interesting league, I think.
Is it going to be another Super Bowl year for the Patriots in your eyes?
I think why not? I feel like every year I can never really count them out. They're definitely going to be a contender. Let's say that. I actually hope that the Raiders are this year. I thought they might have been last year. I think this year with Gruden, they have a good chance of getting to the AFC championship. And if they can get on a winning rail there, who knows what can happen? You know how it can all happen. And there's a lot of teams that they get more and more confident as the season goes along. And then, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. That's why I love the season every year. Midway through the season, if the Patriots and the Raiders are both in it, I'm going to be one super happy guy. I would love to see them play each other in the AFC Championship game. That'd be a dream come true for me.
It absolutely would be. It'd be fantastic. The Hall of Fame weekend is this weekend. Terrell Owens is making headlines because he's decided not to be a part of this year's ceremony. As a Hall of Famer, what do you make of T.O.'s decision not to be a part of the events in Canton, Ohio?
Well, I actually called T.O., and I just wanted to let him know that, one, the Hall of Fame players didn't have a vote. The people who work at the Hall of Fame, they didn't have a vote. And the people who live in Canton, they don't have a vote. So, and whatever he decides to do, I'll support it. and we will all support it, but want him to know that he's still welcome here. And so hopefully he may not come this year. Hopefully he'll come next year, and hopefully he'll come the rest of the time he's in the Hall of, is a Hall of Famer, because he's clearly had a Hall of Fame career. He clearly deserves to be here. And there are a lot of guys who feel like he does, or he did. I was the guy who felt like I should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I had to really try to figure out why wasn't I a first ballot Hall of Famer. And and I've come up with some things that might be the reason, that wouldn't like to talk about. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I tried to get him to see that he's not alone. There's all these great players that are in here. They probably all deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famers too. He's going in with Jerry Kramer, who a lot of people thought he was already in the Hall of Fame. It's unfortunate that he feels like he does, but I'm just hoping down the road all this will kind of work out, and he'll be here and celebrating with the rest of us.
Mike Haynes with us on 104.5 The Team, and doing your duties representing the game as a Hall of Famer, as a Super Bowl champion, and also doing that little bit extra to help men know their stats. Yeah, well, I found out actually from attending a screening here at the Hall of Fame. The NFL and the Urology Care Foundation launched a program to provide screenings to guys for prostate cancer. And so at the time I was working at the NFL office, and my boss asked me to go down and see how the screening was going on. And when I did, guys were just standing around talking, and these ladies that were working there said, "Hey, why don't you sign up, and why don't you get screened, and maybe I'll encourage some of the other guys to do it." So I did. And, maybe 15 minutes later, the doctor called me in to want to talk to me. And of course, you can imagine I got a little bit worried. Right.
And he said that you can't tell at a screening if you have cancer. He said he just wanted to ask me a few questions. So he asked me if I knew my family history of prostate cancer ran in my family. I said, I don't know. My grandfather died of some kind of cancer, but I don't know what it is. And then he said that, African-American men are more likely to get the disease than the general public. And I didn't know one single African-American man that had prostate cancer. But then he said, if it runs in your family, there's even a higher likelihood that you can get this disease. So I thought, wow, when I get back home, I better call my doctor. And I did. And he pulled up my chart while we were talking. He said, well, Mike, I think you're fine, but just to be on the safe side, let's get you a biopsy. And so the biopsy came back positive. They checked, they take tissue right off your prostate in 12 different places in my case, and I had cancer in 9 of the places that they checked, 9 of the 12. So I had it, and I didn't have any symptoms. And what I know now is if you wait until you have symptoms, oftentimes that's too late. But I found out in the early stages when it was easily treatable, and that's what our campaign is about. Don't be like Mike. Don't be lucky. Know your family history. Know that you're likely to get it. If you're African-American, there's a 1 in 6 chance you're going to get this disease. Know if it runs in your family, because if it does, you're going to have to maybe start talking to your doctor about prostate cancer in your 40s. It's a slow-growing cancer, very slow, so slow that most men are going to die with prostate cancer in their system. They're not, but when their PSA level jumps, or what we call a spike, that doesn't necessarily mean you have prostate cancer, but it definitely means you should probably go for a biopsy. But you can monitor it just simply with a blood test and a digital rectal exam every year. If it runs, and if you have to do something, you want to do it when it's easily treatable, like I did. And that's what our campaign is about. And every year at the Hall of Fame, all the guys get screened every year. And we've had several guys find out that they had prostate cancer just like me. Just like I did. They find out that their PSA is high, and they need to go talk to their primary care doctor when they get back home, and they do, and they find out they had it. So we've actually had one situation where a guy's cancer came back after 17 years of being clean. 17th year it came back, and so he dealt with it at that stage, and but he found out about it before it was too late. It was treatable. So that's really what our campaign is about. Men, I'm more unlike most men. I hated going to the doctor. I didn't want to know all this information. But now that I know that that information can save my life, I want other men to know the same thing, and hopefully they can have a good result the way I did.
Mike Haynes, man, we appreciate you talking some football, some New England Patriots training camp stuff with us, and, of course, the Know Your Stats initiative. We really appreciate that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.